Hello and welcome to the final episode of Vlogtober. My name is Anniken and I live in the southwest of England. So as you can see, we went to the cinema this week and I got Simon to film me knitting a little bit in the cinema. That was before the film started, before the ads started as well. We were the only ones in the cinema, so we had the whole cinema to ourselves. We did go at 10 in the morning, so that's probably why. But when we went to the cinema a couple of weeks ago to watch the new James Bond film, I knitted all the way from about there to there. It was 92 rounds in total. It was a very long film. And I finished this sock now. I made the leg quite long, and then when we decided to go to the cinema again this week, I quickly finished the first sock because I had a few rounds left on the rib, and cast it off, and then I cast on for the new sock and knitted the toe. I put a marker in after I finished the toe so I can count my rounds from there, and then I only knitted a round after I finished the toe. So this is what I knitted up to that marker here. That's what I knitted when we went to the cinema this week. It's about 72 rounds and I got 64 stitches per round. So I think that's probably the length of the foot. I need to try it on and measure it, but it's probably the length of the foot. So I got less knitting done this time than when we saw the James Bond film, because it was a much shorter film. It was a normal length film. The film we saw was called The French Dispatch and it was good. I'm not sure I'd see it again. It was quite funny in places. Slightly arty film, but it was funny and I would recommend it. But if it came on telly, I'm not sure that I'd bother watching it again, but I did enjoy it. So tell me, do you knit in the cinema? Have you ever tried knitting in the cinema? If you're thinking, why would you even want to knit in the cinema? I just think a couple hours sitting there is just prime knitting time. I tend to bring simple things. I have in the past brought slightly more difficult things. I remember once we went to a local hall for a film. It was a local church hall. They were showing a film, a kids film. So I took the girls there when they were little and I knitted on a cabled sweater. And I did cross the cable the wrong way at one point, which was a bit annoying because I had to then go back and fix that. But most of the time now I tend to take something easy, either a plain sock, which is just stocking stitch, or a ribbed sock where I'm just knit to purl to the whole time. I don't tend to take anything that's more complicated than that now. Just not to tempt fate. If you're thinking, well, I don't think I can knit in the dark, basically you have to get used to knitting without looking at your knitting, and also to be able to feel your stitches. One tip is, if you're watching a film where there's a bright scene and you think you've dropped the stitch or you made a mistake, you can actually hold your knitting up in front of you and you can see if there's bright on the screen. You can see the light will shine through your knitting, and you can sometimes see if you've made a mistake or if you've dropped the stitch. You can see the strands to be able to pick it back up again, things like that. If there are loads of very dark scenes, then it's a little bit more difficult. But I always knit in the cinema because it's 2 or 3 hours of perfect knitting time, and I got nearly a pair of socks to show for it, so not bad. Sunday. It's about 10 o'clock. Last night the clocks went back, so we should have had an extra hour in bed, but I woke up at normal time. Normally I wake up between 6:30 and 7:30 on the weekend. I woke up at 6, which was actually 7 if the clocks hadn't gone back. So got about the normal amount of sleep, and got straight into knitting for about an hour, 2 hours I think, before I had breakfast and then did one workout. Yesterday I've got a deadline on Wednesday, so I need to finish knitting this cardigan tonight so I can block it overnight tonight, and hopefully it'll be dry tomorrow so I can do all the final measurements and write the pattern, because on Tuesday I'm going to be out all day, so I won't be able to write the pattern. So I need to finish the pattern tomorrow, and I need all the final measurements to be able to do that. So I was hoping to finish this cardigan yesterday. Got to the evening, quite late in the evening, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I wasn't finished, but I'd knitted quite a bit, and then I looked down and actually I counted my stitches and I realised that 90% of what I knitted yesterday was wrong. Basically this cardigan is knitted in one piece of the underarms, and then the front and the back, fronts and the back is separated to the shoulders. So I'd done the back, that finished one front yesterday. I only had like that much on the top, and then I'd started the second front, knitted to about here on the second front, and it was like this bit and the sleeves, and then realised I hadn't actually cast them for the sleeves, so I had to rip out about that much. I think it's about 6 inches I had to rip out, so luckily it was a fairly easy pattern to rip out. I could actually just pull the needle out and put it further down, and it was fairly easy to rip out. So I ripped it out, and then I started again and knitted 2 rounds, and I realised I'd done exactly the same thing. So just to make sure I wasn't going to forget to do it this morning, I actually sat down and added the stitches for the sleeves last night, and then I went to bed quite a bit late, about an hour later than normal, because I normally go to bed quite early. So this morning got up, started knitting, did my workout, and then yesterday morning I knitted a swatch for a new design, which is I have to finish by the middle of November, so I've only got 2 weeks to knit it, and it is in 4-ply yarn. So I knitted the swatch yesterday, blocked it yesterday evening, and then I've just actually written up the pattern, or the first half of the pattern for that sweater, so I can cast on as soon as I finish this cardigan. So this afternoon I'm going to do a lot of knitting. We also need to walk the dog at some point today. I want to make a couple of fish pies, one for tonight and one to put in the freezer. I was going to try and make a couple of lasagnas and put in the freezer, but I might leave that till later in the week. I need to spray some, I got a waterproofing spray yesterday, and I need to spray a bag and a coat. And it's sunny at the moment, so I want to go out and do that while it's dry outside. What else do I have to do? Oh, and we took some photographs for 2 new shawls yesterday, and I wasn't happy with the photographs, so I've got to redo those today as well. So got quite a lot to do. I didn't really need to write up the first part of the pattern for this new design, but I want to do it so that if I finish the cardigan today, which I'm going to try and do, then I can cast on for this new sweater straight away. So I'm going to go off and do a bit of knitting now, and I'm basically going to be knitting as much as possible today to try and get this cardigan finished. I was so annoyed yesterday because it's all the knitting I did from about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon till 9:30 I had to rip out. So I did finish my cardigan last night, and I blocked it but because it's quite big and obviously it's 2 layers and it's quite a thick fabric, I was worried about it drying. So I blocked it out on my table, then I put my blocking mats up against my radiator, and I had to put some chairs there on the table there to stop it from sliding. But it is blocking. It's not quite dry yet, but it is 6 in the morning. This is the new issue of the Knitter magazine. It is issue 169 and I think it's in the shops in the UK now. Love the cover. They're actually showing a knitted, I think it's cardigan or sweater, I'm not sure, plus the hand warmers and scarf as well. So they're actually showcasing 2 designs on the cover, which I think is quite nice. I have a pattern in this issue. Love the model, by the way. It's nice to see a slightly more mature model on the cover. This is my design for this issue. It is an all-over lace shawl, beautiful lace patterns. It's called Calamint, and it's knitted in a yarn called Cloudborn. Let me see if I can show you a bit more without showing you the whole pattern. So that's model with it tied together at the front. So it is knitted in a yarn called Cloudborn Highland Fingering. It's a 4-ply fingering weight, sock weight yarn with 452 meters per 100 gram skein, and the pattern took 2 skeins. So that's another pattern that shows you a little bit more of the lace pattern. I can just see if there's another pattern, another photo at the back. So there's different ways you can wear this shawl. You can wear it kind of bunched up around your neck with the kind of point at the front, or you can wear it as a proper shawl. So as you can see, it is a triangular shape, but it has this center wedge panel at the back, which has a different lace pattern than the sides, and that gives it like a rounded shape at the back rather than a pointy triangular shape. Really nice shape. It's quite a big shawl. Very grateful to my sample knitter who knitted this while I was in Spain in July. Really good issue. Haven't had time to read it properly yet, but I'm going to sit down, I think, tonight and have a good look through it. So October is over. It's 1st of November today, so I thought I would film a little bit of a Vlogtober roundup, look back on what actually happened this month and what I've been knitting this month. So I started the month in Spain. I flew out on last day of September, I think. Spent a week in Spain with my parents. While I was there, trying to think what knitting I brought with me. So let's start with before I left. So I started the first week of the month in Spain, seeing my parents for a week. And before I left, I was working on this project, and I haven't touched this for weeks now. And this only has a tiny little bit to finish on it, so I really should get on and finish it. It's not very much left at all. I have a little bit of black to add to each end. So I got some live stitches at one end, and I got some live stitches at the other end, and I just need to knit up a tiny bit of black yarn. It's not in the bag, so that's worrying. I have no idea where the yarn is, but it's not in the bag. So I was knitting on this before I went to YarnAddict in September, and then I didn't take it to YarnAddict with me because I didn't have that much knitting left to do, probably like an evening. So I didn't take it to YarnAddict with me. I cast on for a new project, and then when I came back from YarnAddict, I didn't pick it up again. I didn't take it to Spain with me, and when I came back from Spain I started working on the deadline project. So the deadline project I cast on when I got back from Spain, I've finished, nearly finished, so at least that's nearly done. So because I've been working so much on that, and that's taken up more or less all my knitting time, I have done a few swatches here and there because I've got some other designs on the go, and also I submit stuff to magazines and yarn companies and things, so I have taken a little bit of time off to knit swatches, but that's basically been most of my knitting for this month. So no time to get back to this project for now. I dropped it on the floor. So let's get back to end of September. So I didn't pick that up, and then I went to YarnAddict at the end of September. I cast on for a new shawl, and I knitted that much while we were away for YarnAddict. It's knitted out of 2 rings of, for the YarnAddict had 2 rings of cyber panel, which I'm really enjoying knitting with. I knitted that while I was at YarnAddict at the end of September, and then I didn't take it with me to Spain because it was just a little bit too bulky, and I only had a hand luggage case, so I didn't have that much space. I didn't take that with me to Spain, but instead I cast on for a new design. So when I went to Spain, I cast on for a new design. No, it wasn't a new design. It was a design I wanted to re-knit. So it's my Lavinia poncho. It's worked from the top down, and I decided to knit it up in lace ball. Yeah, that's lace ball. I wasn't sure there was lace ball or lace ball 100, but that's lace ball. That colourway really caught my eye at YarnAddict, and it just kept calling to me all weekend. So when I got home, I grabbed one ball, cast on for Lavinia. I couldn't quite decide what to knit, so I thought I've always fancied re-knitting Lavinia in a different yarn. So I restarted it. I don't know how many repeats I've done. It looks awful now, but it will stretch out and look quite nice when I've finished it. I knitted on that while I was in Spain, and then probably for the first few days after I got back from Spain, because it's fairly easy to pick up and put down. Every other round is just a knit round, and then when I started on this cardigan, deadline cardigan, I put this away and I haven't worked on it since. So now I've finished this cardigan, I actually have cast on for a new design. So this morning I've cast on for a new design, which is another deadline, and I've got 2 weeks. Deadline is the 15th, so I've got because it's a Monday, I've got to post it on the Saturday, so I've got less than 2 weeks to finish it. It's this beautiful yarn. This is Fabulous from Macintosh, and it's 4-ply. I was using Fabulous DK as one of the yarns for the previous design that I've just finished. I was using Fabulous and Calm. Calm is a merino cashmere blend. Fabulous is a Blueface Leicester silk blend. So I was using the DK version for this design I've just finished, and I'm using the 4-ply version in a really bright pink. This is for a different magazine, so they're not for the same magazines. But I cast on just before I filmed this, cast on and knitted 1 row. So this is knitted in the round. It's going to be lace. So every other round will be just a plain knit round. So hopefully it'll be a fairly quick knit, but it is 4-ply, and I'm knitting it on 3.25mm needles. And I've got 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now. Once I finish that, I then got to cast on for another design in this beautiful yarn by Eden Cottage Yarn. this has also arrived since I filmed my last Vlogtober episode. So this is Keld Aran. Victoria from Eden Cottage Yarn has been talking about Keld a lot on Twitter lately, so I was quite excited to try this. It is 90% superwash extra fine merino wool and 10% linen. I've tried yarns with linen in it before, and linen is a slightly sort of harder, rougher yarn, but this feels incredibly soft. You can't really feel the linen at all, but I haven't knitted with it yet. I haven't knitted a swatch or anything else, so it'll be interesting to see how it knits up. I'm quite looking forward to knitting with this. I will probably be knitting this design myself as well, because all my sample knitters are busy at the moment. And this design for this one is due, I think it's 1st of December. So once I finish this one, I've then got 2 weeks to knit this one. This is Aran weight, so it's a little bit, it'll knit up a little bit quicker, but it's also got cables, I think. I can't remember exactly which design it is now, but so the next month is basically going to be really, really busy because I've got a lot of designs. So no idea when I'm going to get back to the Lavinia poncho. I was actually thinking about this morning, and I'm thinking maybe I'll just leave the Lavinia poncho and take it with me when we go to Norway at Christmas and try and finish it then, because it is a small project and it can probably stay in this pouch till I finish it. So it's not that big and I can fit that in my suitcase easily. The black and plum design I really would like to get finished in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try and really crack on with this yellow thing till this weekend and then see how I'm doing. If I got to the point this weekend where I got to the underarm, then I might take an evening off and finish the black and plum design, because I really would like to get that finished, but I have to finish my deadline stuff first. And then I've also been knitting some socks. So I've actually forgotten the other sock for this one downstairs, but I'm knitting with, this is Yarn Unique and it's zebra sock, and it's got this black yarn going all the way through it. That's not dyed in, I don't think. I believe that's in like the undyed yarn. And then it's got these various rainbow colours. So I've knitted the first sock. I left it downstairs, but it's just a standard top sock. I'm working some garter stitch in the middle here, which runs all the way up the foot and then front of the leg. So the first sock is finished, and I need to finish the second one at some point, but obviously I haven't made much progress on that one. Another thing I need to do at some point this week is to do some swatching. I've got 2 little tiny skeins here for some swatching. I need to wind those tomorrow probably, and then fit in some time for some swatching this week. But these also these were sent to me by the distributor for the Manos del Uruguay yarns. I haven't knitted with Manos for a few years, but I used to do a lot of work for the previous distributors who actually went out of business. I used to do a lot of work for them for many, many years. So I'm quite familiar with the Manos yarns, and I really, really like them. This is Manos del Uruguay Silk Blend Fino. Oh, I think it might actually just be called Fino now. It's merino wool and silk. It's a single strand, single yarn, and it's really, really soft and it feels amazing. So, and then I've also got a skein of merino, which is superwash merino. This is a lace weight, so it's a bit thinner, but I love that colour. I'm not usually a red person, but this is really beautiful. So I'm got to spend some time this week knitting some swatches for some design ideas for these yarns while I'm working on this deadline. So lots of knitting. So I've done loads of knitting in the last month, but because it's all been on this one big deadline project, I don't really feel like I've done a lot of knitting. All the rest of my knitting has been on swatches for new designs. So I hope you've enjoyed my Vlogtober videos. From this week we are back to normal. After this video we're back to normal, where I release a video every Friday. This Friday will be the review of my Licker interchangeable needles. No, Licker circular needles and interchangeable needles. So Licker needle review is up on Friday. Next week might be a normal podcast episode, I don't know, or it might be another needle review, or it might be something else. I haven't quite decided yet. I am got quite a busy week. I'm seeing a friend tomorrow, so I'm going to take this project with me. So when we have lunch I can do a bit of knitting on that, and then on Wednesday I'm working at home, and then on Thursday I'm actually teaching a workshop. So I'm teaching a workshop on Thursday. I'm actually stepping in for somebody else who has had to cancel for COVID related reasons. So I'm teaching this one, which is the Cloudberry cow. So we'll be knitting a little mini version of that in the class. I'm going to use the mini version I actually knitted up for Yarn Lane a couple of weeks ago. But it was here just a minute ago, and now I've lost it and I don't know where it's gone. So we're going to knit a little mini version in class, and then everyone will get this to take home. I think the workshop is either full or nearly full. So if you're interested, the workshop's going to be a spinny yarn. I think this video will be out on Wednesday, so it might be a bit late by the time you see it. But if you're interested in learning how to knit this cow, knit with 2 colours, I'll put the link to Spinny Yarn below. You can always give them a ring and see if they've got any spaces left. That's Spinny Yarn in Bobby Tracy in Devon. So that's the only workshop I got this week. I was supposed to go on a knitting retreat this weekend, this coming weekend, but because with a friend, but my friend's husband's not been very well, and COVID rates are sky high in Cornwall at the moment, so we've cancelled. So I should have plenty of time this weekend to knit on this. Let me know what you got on the needles at the moment. Have you got lots of stuff on the needles? Do you like having a lot of projects on the needles? I must admit, the amount of projects I've got on the go at the moment is a little bit more than I like. I tend to be a bit more of a monogamous knitter these days. So I tend to try and start a project and finish it. I probably usually have socks on the go, at least one pair of socks on the go, just to have something easy I can put in my handbag. But on the whole, I tend to stick to one main project. Unless it's stranded colour work, then I tend to work on 2, because I can't work on stranded colour work all the time because of neck problems. So do you like being a monogamous knitter, or do you usually have loads of projects on the go? My thing is that I know I tend to finish stuff quicker when I have only one main project on the go, and obviously quicker I can finish a project, the quicker I can release the pattern for that project. So if I have several projects on the go that I'm switching between all the time, then it takes me longer to finish one particular thing, and then that delays the pattern release as well. So at the moment, I must admit, I've got 2 more projects on the go that I really, really like having on the go. So I do need to try and get some of these finished, but I need to work on the deadlines first. And I got some other deadlines lined up after that as well. So very busy time ahead. My sample sale, which I think I mentioned briefly in one of the Vlogtober videos last week, is still going on. I've got a big box here with shawls for sale. I've got a few more that I need to wash and block and post out to people. I'm posting a few parcels today, and I have got some more that I have dug out that I will be listing in the sample sale. So do check out my website. I'll put the link below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. The link to that will be below, because if you're a newsletter subscriber, you'll be the first one to find out about any discounts I'm running, and any sales, any workshops, any events, anything going on, new patterns, all that kind of stuff. So do sign up to my newsletter. I only send that one a week, and I try and include a little bit of what knitwear I'm wearing now that we're back into autumn, and also what I'm knitting that week. So do subscribe to the newsletter below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing and liking this video if you haven't subscribed already. If you are already a subscriber, then thank you very much. We are crawling slowly closer to 1,000 subscribers now. Also, one thing I forgot to tell you about, I do actually have a discount at the moment, 50% off all my online courses. So I'll put the details of that below as well. So if you fancy learning to knit continental knitting, which includes Norwegian purl and continental purl, as well as the continental knit stitch, of course, and it also includes a little bit small video, a small lesson on how to knit cables and lace continental style. I've also got an online course on successful lace knitting, which is a bumper course teaching you just about everything you need to know about getting started with lace knitting or improving your lace knitting. So such a huge course. It's got over 60 different lessons, I think. So there is something there from whether you completely new to lace or whether you already have some experience in lace knitting. I'll put the link below so you can go and check out what that includes. And then I've got Scandinavian stranded colourwork and steeking, which is of course knitting stranded colourwork, and also steeking, which is cutting and knitting. And I have my Aventura socks. So Aventura socks, that's the pattern I use for all my socks now. and I show you how to knit socks the way I do, from the toe up or the top down, with a choice of 2 afterthought heels and a choice of 2 toes. So lots and lots and lots included in those online courses. So if you are interested in that, do check all the details below. And thank you very much for watching.